Ashwini. Welcome to CKA Cert Hands-On channel. The purpose of my channel is to get people who want to give CKA 2025 exam get started on their hands-on practicing journey once they finish a formal course of CKA and have a basic understanding of Kubernetes concepts. This creates a depth in your understanding of each concept and helps you crack CKA exam. Today we are looking at the updated, after the updated date, what are the categories that you might expect in your CKA exam, and I've got separate playlists for each category, and right now my current playlist is workloads and scheduling. So we are going to understand the concepts of workloads and scheduling to an extent, so that any kind of a question that you might face, you should be able to solve it with that foundational knowledge. What we are going to understand today is init containers. Init containers are one of the first containers that start before your application containers can run. We will discuss about sidecar container in the next video, but today is about init containers. Specialized containers that run before the app containers in a pod. So if init containers can contain utilities or setup scripts not present in an app image. I think there are good examples here so that you can understand like what are the use cases of when you would use an init container. And for example, if you are looking for a service to be created before you can create your application, then you can do like a script when in your init container, where it'll just wait for until the service comes up. Once the service comes up, then your init container will run to completion, and then your application container can come up. So same here, these are the examples. Or sometimes you just want to wait before your app container comes up, so you can have your init container just sleep for 60 seconds and then your app container comes up. And also you can register your pod with a remote server from the downward API. So these are just examples where you can have your init container do something which your app container depends upon. So this is the same thing you can see here. And in terms of the configuration, init containers is not like it is just parallel to your containers. The containers is your application container. Init containers is the containers, let's just say, that run initially, right? If you want to remember it. So if you have more than one init container, it will just run in sequence of how it appears in your configuration. So in this case, your service will come up until your service comes up, then this init container is done. Okay, and then your DB comes up, and after that your app container comes up. So this is a small introduction to your init container. I suggest you go through it. There are some differences between your init container and your application container in terms of the pod restart policy. So just go through it and understand the concepts. Also, you cannot use any of the probes in init containers. We will deal with probes, and we will in another video and try to understand probes. But for now, it's just try to understand init containers. So let's try to create an init container and see how it works. So I've got this configuration. So let's try to understand this configuration. We have a volume, which is nothing but an empty directory called work directory, And what we have an container, application container, and also we have an init container. So what init container is doing is it's creating a volume mount work directory, and slash work directory, name is work directory. So it's this volume, and then the path is work directory. Now these are sharing these containers. So before the Nginx container uses this volume, what the init container does is it downloads the index.html from this website and then places it in the work directory. Now we have the index.html available when the init container runs, and once it runs, your application container will run, and it will just run Nginx container, and where the volume mount is just user share Nginx HTML, and the path for the HTML file is your volume work directory, and work directory is nothing but slash work directory where your index.html is. So let's try to apply that and see. So I just want to show the logs. So you can see that it is first running your init container, and then it is going to the Nginx. So once your install container is finished, then it's moving on to the starting the application container. So that is the relevance and importance of init containers, where you want to do something before your actual application container starts. And if you see, I think it started also, so that should be it. And then I just wanted to get pods, and we have one pod, and we should have two containers running in it. So containers, Nginx, install. Okay, now I think they will, what it says is you can log into the Nginx container running in the init demo pod and send a get request to the Nginx server. So let's do this. It's doing the whole ctl exec -it defaulted container Nginx out of. So if you see, when you have given the pod name, this was the doubt I had as well, like how does it know there are two containers, which container does it have to use? So it is trying to, between Nginx and install, which is a init container, it thinks that Nginx is the default container. I just want to check if there is anything that specifies it. So nothing. So maybe it doesn't use init containers as a default container, and whatever is left, it uses that. Now what we want to do is do a get request. So we can see that it is the index.html that we got from that info.ch, which we have provided in our configuration. So that is it. Hope that is clear. This is how you can use init containers to start before your application containers. I will provide the description and the exercise links as well in my video description. You will have links to all the playlists that I've been working on as well. I will see you in the next video. Until then, happy learning. Bye.